Hi, welcome to PlanStrongerTV. I'm your host, David Holland. Very excited to bring you this program today. We're going to be talking about financial infidelity. So important to discuss this topic. Certified financial planner Carrie Carbonaro is going to be our guest today. You'll enjoy. Stick around. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Financial infidelity. It's a serious subject. In fact, there are three really specific areas. If you're in a financial relationship with another person, I mean you are sharing finances, and these three areas, if you're not really where you need to be, it can create problems. Here they are. I mentioned the first, financial infidelity. That's somebody you're in a relationship with not being completely honest with you about the finances or their role in the finances. Number two, you're just in the dark. That's just as bad, if not worse. You don't know what's going on. Your spouse takes care of everything, and you just have another role in the relationship where you're not involved with that. That can be very scary. You don't know what you don't know. You might have financial infidelity and don't know it. And the third, financial abuse or financial control, where you literally feel trapped financially and can't do anything. These are all very important subjects. We'll be covering each of them on a separate program. Today we're going to talk about the financial infidelity. So if you are watching this program with a spouse or another person you are in a financial co-relationship with, and you don't know everything going on, or you're concerned about the finances, or maybe that there is some infidelity going on, how about we do this? A little unconventional. Pause this program. I'll be here when you get back. Take a second and talk about it. Okay, you're back. So this is so important. I wanted to make a dramatic point. Talk to your spouse or your loved one about finances openly and honestly. And if you do that, it will make for a much stronger relationship. Now, we're going to dig into this. Stick around. You're going to love this program. Stay tuned. The Money Queen is in the house. I'm very glad to welcome Carrie Carbonaro to the program, ladies and gentlemen. She's a certified financial planner, 25 years experience, very much an advocate for women and finances. And I'm very glad she's here because we're talking about a very important subject of financial infidelity, and this affects a lot of women. So, Carrie, I'm just so glad you're with us to be able to talk about this very important subject.
Yes, it is a very important subject, and a lot of people don't even know what it is.
They don't even realize that it's happening to them.
Yes, yes. So I would like to define financial infidelity for the viewers. So financial infidelity is when couples combine finances and one of them or both of them are lying or hiding.
Mm. So what do they call that? Flat out lying or just withholding information?
Yes, so there's a lot of different ways. Now, the stats are pretty high of how many people actually do it. So believe it or not, it's 3 out of 5.
60%?
Yeah.
And is it, I'm going to ask the question, you know I'm going to ask, is it more women than men that commit the infidelity?
Believe it or not, it's more men. It's 43% men, 39% women.
Wow. Shocking,
right?
Wow.
Absolutely shocking. So let me define what it is and what it isn't, right?
Okay.
So what it is exactly is it could be as little as a little white lie of, hiding a credit card bill where you overspent and you maybe even bought something for your spouse. So that's a little white lie. To the extreme of you're having an affair, you're paying for that person's life.
Yeah.
They have a credit card, you're paying their bills, and I mean, it's massive. I mean, that's earth-shattering type of stuff. So it's a combination of those, all those different things. Now, somebody asked me the other day when I was doing a speech on this, is this financial infidelity. If I have a joint bank account with my spouse and I take money out of my IRA and don't tell him and I pay joint bills, is that financial infidelity? And I said, no. No. Just because you're taking it from one account, paying off your joint bills, it's okay. It
That's
doesn't
just
matter
geography.
Right. It's
Right.
just where you're taking it from. That's absolutely not financial infidelity. So, there's definitely different types of it and what it does and what it causes.
But if you take money out of the IRA and you buy some gold bars and you hide them underneath the floor in your house, that might be infidelity.
That it is, correct.
Yeah. So the first thing, of course, is, and I hammer this point a lot, Carrie, is ladies or men, if you're not involved with your family's finances, this can happen much easier, right?
So much easier. I mean, that's the thing is, the most important thing that couples should do is be on the same page financially, right? And what that means is complete full disclosure. They also call it being financially naked, where every person in the relationship, maybe even, you might even add the kids in there, I don't know, knows what's coming into the household, what's going out of the household, how much you owe in the bills, what the net worth is. And I honestly believe the best way to do that is to go and sit with a certified financial planner, because people who deal with us as certified financial planners, we have full disclosure.
Absolutely.
There's nothing hidden. There's nothing behind the cracks.
And we're going to ask questions.
Yes.
We are. We're going to ask questions about how you feel about this, how you feel about that. We're going to be looking at all the assets put up on the screen. I've had situations, I'm sure you have too, Carrie, where one of the spouses goes, I didn't know I had that.
Right.
So you need to be on the same page, and you avoid misunderstanding by being involved and knowing what's happening, and just, especially not only for first-time marriages, but all the other relationships that people have today, where it's second marriages, cohabitation, for whatever reason, a variety of, you need to be, if you're going to share finances, you need to share financial information.
Right, and you also need to know what the other person's credit scores are. You need to review them, together.
Sure.
You need to actually share passwords. Everybody needs to be able to log into all the bank accounts, the investment accounts, the retirement accounts, the credit cards. No secrets.
I love it. It's so important. So the next obvious questions, Carrie, and I know you talk about this a lot. What does someone do? And we'll use a woman, since the statistic is higher that the men are the ones committing the infidelity financially. What does she do if she suspects?
Right. Well, again, I believe the best way to do it is to not confront that person by yourself.
Okay.
Because if you're going to confront your person by yourself, it may not work.
May not go well.
May not go well. Or if you say, I need to talk to you about something, it's not going to go well. I think it's better to have an objective third party there, to either do it with a CFP, to do it with a counselor, to do it with any type of independent third party who can be objective and to help, a mediator, anything like that, even a church counselor, somebody who can help to be the independent third party. So, and a lot of people say, well, can you repair it? What happens if it does happen? Can you repair it? Well, of course it depends. It's all a matter of trust. So the two reasons that people get divorced are money and infidelity. And this is a combination of both.
This is a wicked combination. So, and I think there's another important thing that we have to say is that if you suspect that or you believe that if you do have that confrontation or you bring up the subject of money and the other person, especially if they've been kind of handling all of it, and you are afraid that they may react very strongly, even more reason to put yourself in a safe environment.
Exactly.
And I can tell you, Carrie, I've met with women who, in talking with them, they were, let me just say it, afraid of their spouse.
Yes.
They felt controlled. Now we're going into more of not just infidelity, we're talking about financial abuse.
Yes.
But this is a serious subject.
Yes,
and
it is.
It is normal, and you correct me if I've got it wrong, it's normal for couples to talk about their money openly, candidly. That's what we should all expect, right?
Yes. Well, one of the things that I always say is that money is a litmus test for your relationship. Right?
Right.
So if you are not on the same page and somebody is hiding or lying or controlling, you don't have a good relationship. There's something
lying,
wrong.
Controlling, hiding, not good, not good. None of those are good.
No, none of them are good. And you know what? It is, you know, me and you will know that that is not going to work.
Right.
That relationship is not going to work.
Not for a financial
doomed.
plan.
It's
No.
doomed.
Yeah. Got to see everything, need to know it's all there. What else can they do? What else can somebody do if they suspect this? Okay, so let's say they've done, let's take it forward. Let's say they've had this confrontation.
Right.
They've talked to the person, maybe in some sort, maybe they've come in and met with a financial planner,
Right.
a certified financial planner, and talked with them about what's going on in the context of an overall plan. And then what? How does somebody go about getting the other person back on the right track? Do you see often that just the fact that it's come up in the meeting that it helps to resolve itself, or there are other specific steps you need to
Well,
take?
so this is a very good point. So I guess the root cause, you have to figure out what the root cause is. Is it shame over debt?
Yeah, that could be it, definitely.
And if it's shame over debt, that can be worked out. Because if the other spouse is trusting and say, it's okay, I understand. Because, I mean, financial infidelity could be just, oh my God, I have this credit card debt and I'm so embarrassed and I don't want my spouse to know. So I am not cheating or lying, I'm just embarrassed.
I'm not funding a mistress on the side. I'm just
Exactly.
embarrassed that I have this. And it's hardwired. You know, there are differences about men and women.
Right.
And one of the things about men is that a lot of us men are hardwired to be providers.
Right.
And if they are failing in their own mind
Right.
of being a provider, they might try to, I don't know, try to work around that in a way where
Right.
they don't, well, I'm providing, I'm doing a good job, I've done this good job for the family.
Right.
When there's this big debt problem or some other issue that they're
Right.
not talking about.
Right, right. And, you know, I mean, so it also depends on, you know, again, the severity of it. So, for example, I've seen where a client is lying on their tax returns.
Ooh.
And, you know, you have a spouse, there's what's called the innocent spouse rule, where if the other spouse really has no idea what's going on and one spouse is committing financial fraud on the tax return, supposedly that innocent spouse is supposed to be not liable. But then you have to prove it, you have to get an attorney, it's very complicated.
Yeah.
And I've seen that happen a couple of times in my career. I've seen where the husband is hiding assets by having statements go to his work. And so the wife doesn't even know that has all these assets because
Right.
she's not seeing them. And they're, you know, and again, if they were with somebody like us, we would make sure we uncovered that.
Sure.
So, you know, and why is that person doing that? What is the root cause? Because you can bring it to light, but it may not change the behavior.
That's very true, Karen. It may be that the spouse, the husband, if that's who's doing it, they're preparing for an exit strategy.
Right.
You may be having a much larger issue of the actual relationship
Right.
being in jeopardy, and that they're going to be making a plan to leave.
Yes.
And maybe with whatever their situation is, they know that they're going to get hammered on the divorce. You know,
Right.
they're going to justify their behavior as
Right.
protecting what they have. And so people can justify a lot of things, as you
Right,
know.
right. Well, and you know, Fidelity did a study on couples as far as, you know, who think that they have great communication. And on those couples that thought that they had great communication, I would say, what was it, 50% of the couples didn't know what the other spouse made. How can you be in a marriage with not knowing what the other person makes? So
That's
this
sobering.
It's a big issue.
So for our viewers, if you suspect you have concerns and you may be watching TV together, we might need to take a moment and think about this. But it's important, Carrie, that we have people understand that these are all things to talk about. Be honest, be candid, and you know, if the relationship's a good relationship, I think you've kind of said this. If it's a good relationship, it can handle repairing this part of the relationship. If the relationship is not on a firm footing, this is really a symptom of that.
Exactly.
And you may have a larger issue where, as you said, maybe working with a certified financial planner or working with somebody who's a counselor who's really skilled at talking through and getting to the root cause.
Right. One other thing too is gray divorces is one of the
yes.
highest growing divorce rate is
Divorce
among
over 50.
older, right, exactly, older people. And what I'm seeing is the older people, financial infidelity is one of the issues issues causing those later in life divorces because of the lying and hiding about money.
They have different opinions or objectives or thoughts about how to help the kids or about, and that's probably where some of the infidelity occurs, where I'm not going to tell my husband that I want to give X amount to the son because he wouldn't like it. So, you know, but listen, that's no different than paying the mistress on the side we talked about. It's the same infidelity.
Exactly.
It's still a balloon that's getting popped, affecting the relationship.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, I mean, it's all about full disclosure with your spouse. And you know what? Money is a very important topic. There's a lot of emotions surrounding it. But you know what? You need to be on the same page. It's just like anything in life, it's full communication and full disclosure. And this is a very important issue because it could tear down your relationship.
Yeah, it really can. And I think that you talked about the white lie at the beginning of our conversation, that just one little, is that first lie, and then it just kind of can grow and mushroom and can otherwise, as a bit of a cliche, otherwise ruin a happy marriage.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I've seen it.
Yeah, it's sad. Carrie and I both see this, and
Yeah.
having done the work for clients, with clients, I've had people come in and I can see they're not on the same page.
Right.
And this is one of the reasons why it's so important that if you're working with a financial planner or advisor, that you meet together with the advisor. Don't just send your spouse and say, oh, go ahead, you meet with them.
No.
You have to be involved, even if you sit there and just listen.
Right.
Sometimes people are like, well, I'm not going to contribute. Why do you need me?
Right.
We're busy. Maybe both are working. Both can't get there.
Right.
A good financial planner is going to accommodate you and get you both there. And I can't tell you the number of people who have said to me, wow, I didn't know I had this, didn't know I had that.
Right.
And we also find out financial differences about the spouses, about how much risk they want to take,
Yes.
how comfortable they are with the up and down of the market, which might be affecting another part of their relationship.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, that's a financial infidelity. If the husband is, wants to put all the money in a high-risk stock and is not telling the wife.
Yeah.
And the wife is freaking out because she wants to stay in cash. So that right there is a cause for concern. What's going on with our stuff? What's going on with our portfolio? Are we on the same page? Or is he just having a separate account that he's doing whatever he wants?
Exactly.
Or
Exactly.
the wife. I
And
shouldn't be,
if
could
it
be
aff-
go both ways.
Yeah, and if it affects the family unit, whatever that decision is, and the other spouse is not involved, that's infidelity. It's that simple.
Correct.
If you're doing something with another account, you've got your 401k at work, and you're just going high risk, and you're like, well, I won't tell her because I don't want her to worry.
Yes.
That's infidelity,
It
right?
is. It is.
Yeah. You got to get on the same page. You got the message?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's critical, and to understand the whole picture and no surprises. And the other thing is you don't know what you don't know. It may be much better than you think, the financial situation, or it might be a lot worse. And your retirement plans may be significantly affected.
Yes. And each person should be involved in every aspect of the finances. A lot of times people say, well, you just do the budget, I'll just do this.
Right.
And then, so a lot of people don't know, they divide and conquer.
Right, exactly.
They should not divide and conquer when it comes to their finances. They should be on the same page because that's where stuff starts to happen.
So true. The house is divided will fall, even if you're trying to do it that way. Carrie, I'm so glad you could be with us to talk about this very important issue. Carrie Carbonaro in our studio today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being with us. Go to PlanStrongerTV.com. Learn a lot more about Carrie and what she's doing with her work to advocate for women and their finances. All right, it's time for our viewer questions. So our first question comes from Mary in Palm Coast. And her question is, how can I achieve a decent rate of return without taking a lot of risk? Great question, Mary. Everybody else has the same one. The short answer is it's difficult, if not impossible. In the world we live in today, the interest rate environment, it's difficult to earn a decent rate of return without taking some risk. So let me say it the other way around. If you don't want to take any risk, you're not going to have an opportunity for much return. Now, there are some inherent ways in which the financial markets work. You don't usually see a lot of return without risk. And in fact, one way to look at it is they're traveling partners. Risk and return almost always travel together. So if you hear of an opportunity or somebody's telling you about an opportunity for a high rate of return, an exciting rate of return, then you can probably expect that there's a significant amount of risk associated with the investment. There just simply isn't high return without risk in today's world. So be very careful if you hear this. Now, let's break it down. What are your choices? If you say, I don't want to take any risk with my money, the choices are pretty narrow. If you say, I want to take risk with my money, or I'm okay with volatility, or I'm okay with the chance that I might lose some or all of my money, that opens up a whole nother world of choice. So if you say, I don't want to take risk, well, then you're really dealing primarily with bank products, cash, money market, CD, checking, saving, or perhaps from an insurance company, a fixed or index annuity. Those are pretty much going to be your choices. Bonds can go up and down in value, stocks can go up and down in value, mutual funds can go up and down in value. All of those things have risk. So risk is going to be there if there's a potential for return. Good question, Mary, and it's a good one to think about. Next question comes from Steve in Ormond Beach. And the question is putting an annuity inside an IRA a waste of a tax shelter? Or using IRA money to buy an annuity, is that a waste of a tax shelter? So I'm going to break this question up. It's a good question. We have different opinions in the financial world. Imagine that. Just like in the political world, there are differences of opinion. Within the financial world, there's also differences of opinion among different professionals. Some people look at things from a different perspective. Now, my opinion is that if you're investing IRA money, no matter what you invested in, it's still going to be an IRA. So if you buy mutual funds, or you buy stocks or bonds or a CD or an annuity in an IRA, it's still an IRA. So there's really nothing more than that as to relates to the IRA. Now, an annuity, it has its own tax treatment under the tax code if you use regular money. If you take, I've got this cash, and I've already paid tax on it, and I'm going to put it into an annuity and defer that money until some future point, and then I'll take it out later, well, there's a tax advantage built into the way annuity is put in the tax code. So that is a nice feature, or usually considered a positive feature for putting your money into an annuity. Putting the annuity into the IRA is already tax deferred. So I wouldn't call it a waste. I would just say you shouldn't put the money in an annuity with IRA money if your only goal is to save taxes. And most of the time, when I see a situation where it makes sense to put an annuity in an IRA, it's usually for another reason, maybe to protect that money or have income generated by the annuity with those IRA dollars. So this is a great question. I'm so glad that it was asked, because it shows you that a lot of times there are different reasons to do certain investments or with certain money. So I applaud the question. All right. I want to also recommend that if you'd like me to answer your question, you can do it this way. You go to questions@PlanStrongerTV.com. Just send me an email, questions@PlanStrongerTV.com, or you can also go to the website, PlanStrongerTV.com, just for more information about the show and what we're doing here. All right, one more thing before you go. Financial infidelity. I've seen this firsthand, and I've seen it create a tremendous amount of stress for people. Once upon a time, I was asked by a local attorney in my area to serve as an expert witness on a case that a couple was bringing against a stockbroker. And they wanted me to look at the situation and figure out what the broker did right, what the broker didn't do right, see if there was a problem, if there's something that the broker did that caused the person to have losses. And we're sitting at the attorney's table. And during the conversation, all of a sudden, the husband passed the wife a note and said, "It's all my fault. I did it. I wasn't telling you about what I was doing with the broker. I'm at fault as well." Wow. So this happens. Be tuned into it, look out for it, and have honest conversations with your spouse about your money. I'm so glad you joined us today. Be sure to tune in next time. Thank you for watching.